on the phone. Jaffe and Sullivan were there on chairs. The barbers were working on customers. Someone wanted a manicure. Fickler called Janet. She didn't come.
Where was she?
On the floor of her booth, out cold. She'd gone there maybe 15 minutes before.
Alone all that time?
Well, I think all the barbers had gone back behind the partition at least once during that time.
You think?
Good, when I said I was on the phone quite a lot.
Oh, gee. How bad is she hurt?
Well, not bad enough for the hospital. Doc let us keep her here. She was hit above the right ear with a bottle taken from the supply shelf. The bottle was big, heavy, full of oil. It was there by her on the floor.
Any prints?
Oh, come on, Goodwin, for God's sake, start a school. He had a towel in his hand or something. It is a barber shop. Come on.
Just a minute. What did the doctor say when you asked him if she could have just been testing her own skull?
Well, he said it was possible, but he doubted it. Come and ask her.
Here's your friend, Archie Goodwin, Miss Stahl.
Hello, Janet.
Hi.
How do you feel? Terrible?
No, I don't feel at all. I'm past feeling.
Can I have a look at that bump on your head?
Oh, if you're careful.
Can you tell me if it hurts?
Oh.
Well, doing your hair is going to be a problem for a while. Who did it?
Send them away and I'll tell you.
Certainly. You men, come on, get out.
What
if
is?
I had been here, this never would have happened. Now leave us.
Now, look, Goodwin.
Out.
Come on, Sergeant.
Wow. You sure showed them.
Well, it was shocking. You could have been killed or disfigured for life. It could have ruined your career. Thank God you got a good thick skull.
I started to scream, but it was too late.
What started you to scream? Seeing him? Hearing him?
It was both. I was sitting in the customer's chair with my back to the door. I was just sitting there, trying to think, you know.
I know.
And then there was this little noise behind me, like a stealthy step.
Uh-huh.
And I looked up, and I saw him reflected in the glass right behind me with his arm raised, and I started to scream, but before I could get it out, he struck.
Right. You were sitting in a chair, this chair, with your back to the door like this, right?
That's it. I was thinking
And
like...
you saw his reflection in that crinkly glass partition there?
Yeah.
And you recognized him?
Yeah.
The glass is crinkly. It'd be hard to get a clear reflection. You're sure you recognized him?
Well, of course I'm sure. That's why I wouldn't speak to them. That's why I had to see you.
Why did you have to see me?
Because of who it was.
Who was it?
It was that one with the big ears and the gold tooth, the one they call Stebbins. Or they call him Sergeant.
Are you telling me that Sergeant Stebbins hit you with that bottle?
Well, I can't say it was him that hit me. I think people should be careful what they accuse other people of. I only know it was him I saw standing behind me with his arm raised, and then something hit me. From that, one can only draw conclusions.
Yeah, but Janet...
Besides, he was rude to me this morning, asking me questions, and all day he's been looking at me in a rude way. Not the way a girl is willing for a man to look at her, because she has to expect that.
Yeah, but Janet, that doesn't make sense.
Well, does it make sense for Mr. Fickler or Jimmy or Ed to want to kill me? Why would they?
Why would Stebbins?
I told
I've
you.
never known him to strike a woman without a cause.
Oh,
What did he have against you?
I don't know. When they ask me that, I'll just have to say, I don't know. Now, that's what you've got to tell me, how to answer things to reporters. I can't keep on saying, I don't know, or why would they print it? What hit you? I don't know. Who hit you? I don't know. Why did he want to hit you? I don't know. Oh, God. I mean, who'd want to read that? What should I say to them?
I don't know. We'll come to that. First, we're
No,
going...
we ought to settle it right now. That's how you'll earn your 10%.
My 10% of what?
Of everything I get as my manager. Shake on it.
Hey, that's a darn good idea, but I think...
I can tell the reporters to ask you about things I don't know. It's called referring them to my manager.
Janet, you tell the reporters I'm your manager, and I'll give you a lump that'll make that one seem as flat as a pool table.
Oh, but I need some answers to give.
Well, just say it's a mystery. People love a mystery.
That's it. That's the kind of thing. Oh, I knew I could count on you.
Oh.
Oh, what do I say when they ask me if I'm going to go on working here? Couldn't I say, I don't want to desert Mr. Fickler in the time of trouble?
Great. That's the ticket.
Just came to me.
That's the thing that we have to work on. how to handle reporters. Now, what they like best is to get the jump on the police. Now, if you can tell them something that the cops don't know, they'll love you forever. For instance, now...
Yeah? For instance, what?
Suppose for a minute that it wasn't Stebbins that hit you. Just suppose that it was someone else. Why would someone want to get you?
I don't know.
Maybe, just maybe, you do know something. But you don't know that you know it. You see what I mean?
No.
Well, maybe sometime today you saw or heard something, and this person, now let's call him X.
X?
Yeah, X. And if X knew that you told about it, that would put him on the spot, so that's why he had to kill you.
Oh, I get you. You mean a motive.
Exactly. It's just like a motive. Now, here's the point. If you can remember what it was you heard or saw that scared X, wow, those reporters will be your friends for life. Now, for God's sake, don't miss the chance. Concentrate.
Okay.
Remember everything you saw or heard here today and tell it to me now.
Right. I don't remember anything.
Concentrate. It was probably some little thing that didn't seem important to you at all.
Maybe I could say that...
No, it's got to be true.
Oh.
Now, let's go over it again. What time did you get to work this morning?
9:15. I'm always punctual.
Swell. Were the others here already?
Some were and some weren't.
Who was and who wasn't?
Good Lord, I don't know. If you're going to expect me to remember things like that, then we might as well just quit. When I came to work, I was thinking of something else. A lot of the time, I'm thinking of something else, so how could I notice?
I'll tell you what. I think you're ready. I'm going to send in a reporter.
A reporter? Oh, God, I'm not ready.
Sure you are. Just use your common sense and stick to facts.
Oh, give me a minute. I want to fix my...
You heard.
We heard.
I had to come up for air. If you shoot her, send her brain to Johns Hopkins.
We can find it. Gee. Did she knock herself out?
I doubt it. It was a pretty solid blow to raise that lump. You didn't find a prince in the bottle. Bothering about Prince has been either. You better pick someone good to be that reporter from the Gazette. Can I go home now?
No, she might insist on seeing her manager again.
Oh, come on. Oh, well. I'll have to call Mr. Wolfe and let him know. I do work for him, you know. So I dialed the number that I knew best and reported. And then I waited. I waited for nearly 2 hours while they brought in a detective that Janet might think was a reporter. I think he came out even more confused than she was.
Mr. Kramer, will you ask this man to let me pass?
Well, I'll be
I
damned.
don't believe it.
Let him in, Jaffy. Well, what happened? Dynamite?
I came to get a haircut. Jimmy, are you free?
Yes, sir. You want a haircut, huh?
Yes, sir. As you can see, I need one.
Oh, yeah. All right, Jimmy. Come and cut Mr. Wolfe's hair. You just dropped in? Like Goodwin this morning?
Certainly not. Mr. Goodwin told me on the phone of his fruitless talk with Miss Stahl, and I thought it well to come.
Okay, you're here. You don't leave your house on business for anybody or any fee, but you're here. And you're not going to leave until I know why, without any such crap as murderers in the front room.
Not as short as last time, Jimmy.
No, sir.
Mr. Kramer, you can badger me if that's what you're after and get nowhere, but I offer a suggestion. Why not work first? Why don't we see if we can settle this business, and then if you insist, go after me? Or would you rather harass me than catch a murderer?
You know how to catch the murderer?
Quite possibly. I'd like to propose certain assumptions about what happened here today. Do you care to hear them?
Oh, listen, but don't drag it out.
I won't. Please don't waste time challenging the assumptions. I don't intend to defend them, much less validate them. They're merely a basis of exploration to be tested. The first is this, that Wallen found something in the car that had killed 2 women. No, Jimmy, I don't like it this way. I want a direct view, not reflections. Turn me around, please.
Like this?
Thank you.
Janet isn't here. Do you want her?
If possible. Can she sit up?
Stebbins.
She says it makes her a little bit dizzy.
Who'd notice? Bring her.
Yes, sir.
You were going to make some assumptions?
Yes. The first is that Wallen found something in the car that led him to this shop. Some object, obviously, since there was no one to tell him anything.
We made that assumption without any help.
And it still holds?
Yes.
That's fortunate, since all of my assumptions concern that object. The second is that Wallen had it with him when he came here. I can support that with
You
strong
don't
evidence.
need to. We made it and we hold it.
Very well, that saves time. Not too short back there, Jimmy.
No, sir.
The third is that he had the object inside the newspaper he was carrying. It was an early edition of the news on sale last evening, not on sale this morning. He had it in his hand, folded to approximately the size of 12 inches by 9 inches.
You know a lot about it.
I know nothing you don't know. It's difficult to account for his carrying a stale newspaper in that manner unless it was a container for some object. At least the assumption is good enough to work on. The fourth is that whatever the object was, the murderer got it and disposed of it, because no object that could have led Wallen to this shop was found on his person or in the booth. The fifth assumption is that the murderer was neither Carl nor Tina Vardis.
How do you know that?
I
Look, I
shall
want to know
not
why
support that assumption. Don't waste time clawing at me. Since Carl and Tina are not involved and therefore didn't take the object away with them, it's still here in the shop. That is the sixth assumption. And it's good only if your surveillance of these people here all these hours has been constant and alert. Now, what about it? Could any of them have removed such an object from the shop?
I want to know why you're excluding Carl and Tina.
No, not now. First, we'll complete this test. We must know whether the object could have been removed by anyone other than Carl or Tina.
No.
How good a no?
Good enough for me. No man has stepped outside this shop alone. Something could have been slipped to a customer, but that's stretching it. And we've had them under our eyes.
Not apparently the one who assaulted Miss Stahl.
That was in the shop. Is that a point?
I suppose not. Then we assume that the object is still here. The seventh assumption is this, that no proper search for such an object has been made. Have you searched thoroughly, Mr. Stebbins?
We've looked. Carl and Tina had to have taken
Yes,
it.
but granting my assumption which excludes their taking it, has there been a proper search?
No.
Then it's about time. Mr. Fickler,
Yes, Mr. Wolfe?
you run this place and you can help us. But I address all of you who work here. Put your minds on this. You too, Jimmy. Stop a moment. Listen.
Hell, I can work and listen too, Mr.
You
Wolfe.
cannot. I want full attention.
Okay.
Miss Stahl, are you listening?
What?
What we're after is an object with something on it that identifies it as coming from this shop. Ideally, it should be the name and address or phone number, but we'll take less if we have to. We are supposing that it was inside the newspaper as Wallen was carrying it, so it should be flat and of those dimensions. Now, all of you went to the booth and were questioned by Wallen, but he showed you no such object and mentioned none. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Then only the murderer saw it or was told of it. And later, when the opportunity came for him to dive into the booth and kill Wallen, he got the object and disposed of it somewhere in this shop. Now, I put it to you, and especially to you, Mr. Fickler, what is it and where is it?
Maybe it was the newspaper itself.
Possibly, but I doubt it. Where is the newspaper, Mr. Kramer?
At the lab. There's nothing on it or in it that could have brought Wallen here.
What else has been taken from here to the lab?
Nothing else but the scissors and the bottle that was used on Miss Stahl.
Then it's still here. All right, Jimmy, finish.
Yeah, looks like a turkey to me, even with your assumptions. Say we find something like what you want. How do we know it's it? And even if we think it's it, where does that get us?
We'll see when we find it. For one thing, fingerprints.
Nuts. If it belongs here, of course it'll have their prints.
Not their prints, Mr. Stebbins. Wallen's prints. As I understand it, he didn't go around touching things here. He entered, spoke to Mr. Fickler, was taken to the booth, and never left it alive. So if we find anything with his prints on it, we've got it. Have you your fingerprinting equipment here?
Get it, Stebbins. And Wallen's prints from our file.
The search must be thorough and will take time. First, I ask all of you to search your minds. What object is here, belongs here, that meets the specifications I've described? Now, surely you can tell us, Mr. Fickler.
I don't know. Unless it's a towel. But why would he carry a towel like that?
He wouldn't. Anyway, a towel wouldn't help us, so I reject it. Miss Stahl.
I think he may have been keeping the paper because there was something in it he wanted to read. I know I often do that. Say it's an evening paper, and I don't have time to...
Yes, we'll consider that. Jimmy?
I don't know a thing like that in the store, Mr. Wolfe. Not a thing.
Hoy! Either you have no brains at all, or they're temporarily paralyzed, or you're all in a conspiracy. I am looking straight at such an object right now.
What? Where?
On that table.
The magazine?
Of course. You subscribe to them, Mr. Fickler. They come through the mail. Then the name and address is on them. That Time magazine, for example. The addressee is on the cover. Surely it deserves examination, and others, too. What if he took it from here and had it in his pocket when he stole the car and drove up Broadway. And in the excitement